New at 5, a Butler County woman says she's lucky to be alive after a man pointed a gun right at her head. Thanks for joining us today at 5. I'm Tricia Mackey.
And I'm Megan O'Rourke. Amanda Smith says that she was on her way to work this morning when the suspect jumped out in front of her car.
Mike Shell spoke to Amanda, who tells us her incredible story that you'll only hear here on Fox 19.
Yeah, Tricia, we are along Riverside Drive. You see the railroad tracks and then Edgewood High School in the background. Both played a part in this frightening encounter.
I just couldn't believe it. I just saw my life flash before my eyes in that moment.
Amanda Smith says she was driving down Riverside Drive on her way to work around 7 o'clock in the morning when she saw a man and a woman walking along the railroad tracks, and then the man jumped out onto the road ahead of her car.
As I got almost to him, he just stood and pulled out a gun and pointed it right at me through the windshield. And he said, "Get out of the effing car."
Amanda says she got out of the car, put her hands in the air, and that's when the woman stepped forward.
And she said, "What are you doing? Stop this." And he just kind of looked at her and kind of noticed that she was upset. And then he got out away from my car, went down and walked towards her. And he looked at me and he said, "You can get back in your car."
Amanda says she immediately drove down the road to Edgewood High School, where she called 911, and then her husband, Chad, who was at work at the time.
I was very upset. I was crying. I was a blubbering mess. And I said, I just got pulled over, or I just got held at gunpoint.
My mind went to the worst of places, but luckily a few minutes later she called me back to find out she's safe, she's okay. Just a little bit in shock.
Amanda says Trenton police officers arrived at the school along with Butler County Sheriff's deputies. A sergeant with the Trenton Police Department tells us it's kind of an odd thing that occurred this morning. We really don't have that kind of nonsense around here. We are just fortunate it didn't really involve anything to do with the high school. Amanda says she was then told that the suspect had been arrested.
And next thing I knew, we saw a police car, or I think it was a sheriff's vehicle, and he was in the back of it, and he was thrashing around, kicking the seats on the inside, throwing a big fit.
Amanda says that her mom asked her why she stopped her car. She told her mom that by the time she had slowed down, the suspect was close enough that he could have shot her. Now, we are still waiting to hear from the Butler County Sheriff's Office on the suspect's name and any charges that he faces. Live in Trenton, Mike Shell, Fox 19 Now.
All right, Mike, thanks. This is breaking now. A man has been indicted